Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are going to be creating echoes of layered work on the mat. For the first half of the class, we're going to play freestyle, and then we're going to use the Swiss ball to echo that work and make it a little bit more challenging. If you don't have a Swiss ball at your disposal, you could perhaps modify with a small stool or a chair, or you can elect to just work freestyle again for the second half of the class. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, and feel comfortable to pause the stream and take a rest at any time should you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class, standing more or less in the middle of the mat. You're going to find a nice, comfortable parallel stack with your feet just inside of hip width distance apart. Start to root through your feet, start to squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together. Stand up nice and tall and place the hands on your hips. We're going to begin working on the right side of the body. You're going to soften the right knee and place the big toe on the mat in front of you. Keeping that bend through the right knee, you're going to pull the knee into a tabletop position, stopping when your knee is in line with your hip, and then tap the toe softly back to the mat. We're going to lift and lower 10 times on the right. Pretending that you're tugging on a little piece of string through the belly button to pull the knee up and tap back down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to come back into your original parallel stance. You're going to float both arms out in front. You're going to grab the right wrist with your left hand. You're going to twist to the left as you give me a little wrist pull to the left and come back to center. We're going to pull 10 times. Last one. Come back to center, relax the arms at your side, find your tall stance, root through your feet, place your hands on your hips, knee lift on the left. On your support side, keep your shoulder, your hip, your knee, and your ankle stacked. Last one. Wrist pull to the right. Grab hold of your left wrist. You're going to pull off center to the right and come back. You're keeping this wrist pull at about shoulder height. Remember it, the next time we come back to this wrist pull, we're going to do it overhead. Last one. Come back to your standing frame on the mat. Place your hands on your hips. We're going to add to that knee lift. So knee lift on the right, and then kick with a soft toe, bend, and tap back out. Knee lift, kick, bend, tap. Knee lift, kick, bend, tap. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We're going to come back to that wrist pull, but this time you're going to float the hands overhead. You're going to tug the right wrist off center to the left and back. Last one. Place your hands on your hips. Knee lift on the left to kick and tap back out. Lift, kick, tap back out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Overhead wrist pull. Grab hold of your left wrist. You're going to tug off center to the right and back. Place your hands on your hips. We're going to add to our little sequence. Knee lift on the right, extend the leg, then give me a small half V to the right and back, and retrace your path to tap to the mat. Kick, extend, come off the center line, bend to tap. Lift, kick, little half V to the side, and then retrace your path back. I'm going to call that 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Come back to parallel. We're going to combine those wrist pulls. So you're going to give me one at about shoulder height, and then one overhead. One at shoulder height, one overhead. We'll just do one more. Come back to parallel. Let's rinse and repeat on the left. Knee lift to kick, half a V, and trace your path back. Knee lift, kick, half a V, and back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, and then we'll bring it back to those wrist pulls, alternating. So one tug at shoulder height, off center, one tug overhead. Let's do one more, and then we'll take it into some parallel roll downs from here. Standing up nice and tall, arms at your side, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back, roll down one vertebra at a time. Restack and realign as you come back up. Move with your breath. Whole exhale to come down. Take a recovery inhale, use the whole exhale to restack and realign. We're going to do one more roll down, and then we'll end in a fold. So either at a tabletop height or maybe lower to the mat, and you're going to bend and extend dynamically through the legs. Maybe your hands are on the floor, maybe they're on your shins, maybe they're on the tops of your thighs. Hold the forward fold wherever you are. And then when you're ready, step back into an elbow plank. So find 4-point kneeling. Drop down onto the elbows. All 10 fingers looking to the front of your mat. Step your legs back into a plank line and hold for 10. Body line as parallel to the mat as you can. Don't collapse through the shoulders retract, come out through the shoulders. Stay for another 10 or give me an alternating hip dip side to side. Kick back into child pose. You can keep those legs into parallel as you maybe sit back bum to heel, arms wrapped alongside your body. Then peel up from here into a seated frame on your mat with enough room to come down on your back. So check your runway behind you. Bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet. We're going to play with a little C curve. Either hand softly braced on your shin bones, or maybe you'd like to hold behind your thighs. Sit up nice and tall, shoulders stacked over your hips. Big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, hollow out your belly, round out your back, and stop in a nice C-curve frame, looking down towards your belly button, and then inhale to float back. Rinse and repeat. The next time you come into the C-curve, we're going to take it all the way down and we're going to come into a hollow hold, hovering your arms and your legs off the mat, making a U frame with your body and holding for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Keep your chest off the mat, bend your knees, float your arms alongside the body, lifting up and coming back to hovering. So you're trying to keep that hollow frame on the back. Your lower and your mid back is nice and heavy. And you're giving me a little arm raise and lower. If this is too much, you can relax your whole back line to the mat. But give me that little tilt so that you can feel your lower back imprint and then lift and lower with the arms. So either head and shoulders on the mat or head and shoulders off the mat as you play. Then relax the arms at your side. We'll come into a bridge hold. Begin in neutral spine. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Imprint your lower and your mid back. Find that scoop. And then leading with the tailbone, you're going to start to bleed your back line off the mat, floating your belly and your hips up towards the sky and pausing in a bridge hold. Remember this bridge-like frame. We're going to try to replicate it later on the ball. So just put it into your memory banks. Then articulate back down, leading with the back of your ribs. One line at a time. Find your way back into neutral spine and take a recovery breath. We're going to work a modified crunch. You can either keep your arms long and lengthened, or you can tuck them behind your head in a surrender-like fashion, or you can cross at the wrists with your hands down on your chest. I'm going to use a long arm line, beginning in neutral. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, imprint your lower and your mid back, scoop to peel up and creep your fingertips towards the edge of your mat. Pause, hold, inhale to float back down. Let's do 9 more. Two more to go. And then we're going to transition and we're going to begin working with the ball, or you can modify and reach for your stool, or you can play freestyle. Maybe just gently rocking up. Grab hold of your prop if you're using it. You're going to position your stool or your ball on the mat with a little bit of runway out in front of you. Square up through your feet and your knees. Your hand position is either fingertips resting into the ball to help with your balance, or you can just keep your arms relaxed with a soft elbow at your side, or if you want to work a little harder, you can keep the arms floating while you play with the legs. All right, you're going to repeat that knee lift on the right, lifting the whole foot off the mat as you draw the knee in, and then softly tapping the whole foot back to the mat. We're going to execute 10 lifts on the right and pick the hand position that works for you. Once you've done 10, on one side, you're going to ground both feet, float the arms out in front. Keep your tall seat as you give me a wrist pull off center to the left at about shoulder height. Keep your tall seat, so long spine, tailbone to crown. Shooting for roughly 10 pulls off center to the left. Then come back to the middle, pick the hand position that works for you. You're going to give me those little knee lifts on the left, and not a sound as you softly reconnect the whole foot to the mat. So I want you to really use those lower abdominals to pull that knee up. On your grounding side, your left foot, you're going to press your right foot, You're going to press the whole foot firmly into the mat, and you're going to squeeze the right knee in towards the center line to help with your balance. Once you've done 10 lifts, you're going to float both arms out in front. You're going to grab for your left wrist this time. You're going to tug off center to the right and come back, keeping your tall seat. Both feet stay actively grounded into the mat, and you're squeezing in towards the center line with both knees, as if you had a yoga block between your thighs. So keep your legs active, keep your trunk nice and tall. Once you've done 10 pulls off center to the left, you're going to come back to the middle, picking the hand line that works for you. I'm going to keep my arms relaxed so you can focus on my leg. We're going to do a knee lift, and you're just going to kick the leg into extension, bend and softly reconnect your whole foot to the mat. Shooting for roughly 10 knee lifts with a soft extension, or maybe you can think of it as a soft kick, as if you wanted to kick the wall in front of you away. And then that foot comes softly, softly back to the mat. And I want you to focus as you connect that foot to the mat. Connect first with the toes, then the balls, then the heels, before you lift off again. Shooting for roughly 10 knee lifts with an extension. Once you've done 10, you're going to find your seat. You're going to float the arms out in front, or rather take them overhead this time, my bad. You're going to grab hold of the right wrist. You're going to tug off center to the left and come back. All right, let's repeat that on the left. Pick the arm line that works for you. You're going to give me a knee lift with a kick or an extension, and then softly reground. The whole time as you're playing on the ball, or if you're modifying on a stool, or even if you're standing, I want you to try to keep your shoulders and your hips as even as you can. So try not to tilt and drop lower on one side. You need to use your core and your grounding foot and your grounding inner thigh to keep your body as stable as you can, particularly if you are seated on a prop. Once you've done roughly 10 knee lifts with a leg extension, you're going to come back to your high seat. You're going to float both hands overhead. Reach for your left wrist, tug off the center line to the right, and come back, keeping the arms floating overhead. back towards the center line. We're going to add that little half a V off the center line. So knee lift, leg extension, keep the leg extended, half a V to the right, and then retrace your path and softly ground the foot. We're going to shoot for 9 more. 9, 8, stable through the shoulders, stable through the hips. Keep your breath flowing, don't hold your breath. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We're going to play with that combination wrist pull, 1 off center at shoulder height, and then 1 off center overhead. And you're going to keep alternating between the shoulder height and the overhead position. And we're just going to shoot for roughly 5 repetitions of the combination movement. Use your breath. Last one. And then we'll rinse and repeat that combination leg movement on the left. So when you're ready, knee lift, extend, off center V, and retrace to softly reground. As you find your rhythm, remember, root through your grounding side, so the right foot stays planted and you squeeze that right knee into center. Keep the breath going. I'm going to call that 5, 4, last 3, last one, and then we'll bring it into those combination wrist pulls. So when you're ready, float the arms out in front, 1 tug off center at shoulder height to the right, and then 1 overhead, using your breath. Keep your tall seat. Let's make this the last one. And then we're going to play with those roll downs. If you're playing freestyle, you're going to do a standing roll down. If you're sitting on a stationary stool, you can just give me a C curve. So you can place your hands, or rather a high C curve. Place your hands maybe just softly behind your thighs. Hollow out your belly, round out your back, and then peel back into a high seat. So you're giving me a C curve from a high seat. If you are on a rounded ball, we're going to do a C curve walkout. So you're going to walk your feet out as you hollow out, floating the arms out in front, making a nice C curve frame with your body. And then drop the arms at your side as you walk back to center. So walking out the C curve, if you're on the ball, give me a nice hollow frame, and then walk back to stop. Play with it, so depending on whether you're working from a standing frame or a stationary seated stool, you're going to pick the variant that works for you. Try to give me a nice hollow frame so that you're feeling those abdominals. Let's do one more. We're going to end in that C curve frame. You're going to hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Keeping that C curve frame. So if you're on the ball, your mid back is connected to the mat. You're keeping that hollow frame. You're going to raise the arms up and bring them back to shoulder height. Raise the arms back, bring them back. Keeping that hollow frame, so you're feeling each little briquette of that six pack that you're working on. Then walking back up, take a recovery breath. We're going to come back into a crunch line. If you're working on the mat, you can either tuck the hands behind your head, have the arms long and floating, or cross your wrists and relax your fists or your palms on your chest. If you're working on the ball, we're going to play with a cross wrist option, maybe making a little fist or a flat palm. You're going to walk your way into C curve, coming all the way back, allow your shoulder blades to tap on the mat, and then pull back up to a high seat. So you're thinking C curve, but you keep coming down until it feels like your shoulder blades are just connecting to the ball, and peel back up. We're going to shoot for 10. Last one. From here, we're going to find our way into that elbow play. And you can either play freestyle on the mat, or you can come to your elbow plank on your stool, or you can use your ball. So position your prop if you are using it towards the top end of the mat so that you've got enough room to extend the legs behind you. You're going to bend your elbows and you're actively going to push down with your forearms and your elbows into the ball. You can either give me a parallel stance, or you can bring the two palms together, make a little fist and push through your elbows, your forearms and your fist into the ball. So just do what works for you. You're going to step the legs back one at a time and you're going to hold steady for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, stay for another 10, or give me those hip dips, or use your elbows and trace 10 circles clockwise so that you're feeling a little bit of firing through the obliques. Try to keep your plank line nice and parallel to the mat. Once you've done 10 in one direction, you're going to change it up and move in the opposite direction to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax down to the mat. You're going to take a seat on the ball. And we're going to come to a little hamstring stretch. You can also do this from a standing frame, so I'll demo both. If you're working from the ball, you're going to extend the right leg out in front of you, keeping the left leg bent, and you're going to softly fold forward to try and hold onto maybe the toes or the undercarriage of your foot. If you're playing freestyle and you're doing this from a standing frame, you're just going to stand up nice and tall, keep the left leg extended, keep both legs extended, place the right leg out in front of you. Softly fold forward, maybe hands on the tops of your thighs, or maybe you're reaching for the undercarriage of your foot. So pick what works for you and hold your hamstring stretch. Give yourself at least a slow count of maybe 10 or 20. So hold the stretch. Breathing nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs. Then from here, you're going to come into lizard on a rock. So you're going to think of that bridge line that we played with. If you're playing on the ball, you're going to walk the ball out, curve over the ball, maybe relaxing the hands overhead to the mat behind you. You can either keep your legs bent, or you can extend them and make a nice little back bend over the ball. If you're playing freestyle from a standing position, you can just give me a standing back bend. So maybe using both hands to support your lower back, either fingertips down, fingertips up, or you can use a little L frame between your index finger and your thumb, and you can come into a standing back bend. Once again, you're going to hold the back bend of your choice for roughly 10 to 20 seconds. And then you're going to come out of your back bend and we're going to repeat on side 2. Finding your hamstring stretch, either standing or seated, and hold. Breathing nice and deeply into the back of your ribs, holding for roughly 10 to 20 seconds. Keeping your belly button firmly pulled into center. Try to keep that left leg long and extended, whether you're seated or standing. Then ease your way into the back bend of your choice. If you're on the ball, walk your weight forward. So you're wrapping your back around the ball. Maybe floating your hands overhead. Maybe even walking the legs into extension. So you're getting an awesome stretch from the tips of your toes, through the top chain of the legs, into the lower belly, into the rib cage, into the arms. Find your way from here into a tall seat or a standing frame, relaxing the arms at your side. Big breath in, circle your hands overhead on the inhale, and then exhale to bring them down in active prayer. We're going to do that 3 more times. Last one, big breath in. That ends off our playtime on the mat for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, keep it light.